ladies and gentlemen, we're 1 day away from a potential successful soft landing on the dark side of the moon. Chandrayaan 1, you remember what Chandrayaan 1 did for India and the global stage. We discovered water on the lunar surface, and at the same time, whilst we're talking about the dark side of the moon, Chandrayaan 2 was a huge learning curve for us. Now Chandrayaan 3 and all our missions, Mangalyaan, from whatever happened in that little church in Kerala, that small fishing hamlet, today India is reaching the stars.
Is it, a lot of people actually don't know that ISRO started off its operations from that small church.
Absolutely.
And the fishermen folk actually gave that church to ISRO, and from
yesterday
there onwards,
we showed you images that was there you go. That's the latest update. Chandrayaan 3 mission has made contact with the Chandrayaan 2 orbiter, which is still, chilling out there in the lunar orbit. It says, welcome buddy, two-way communication between the two has been established. MOX has now more routes to reach the lunar, the LM, the lunar mass.
Actually the first mission we were talking about was you had the orbiter as well as the lander being launched together, but now we had to
now
launch.
It says here, live telecast of the landing event begins at 17:20 hours. That's 5:20 hours IST. That's going to happen tomorrow. But what I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying. There is a possibility, and here's the Chandrayaan landing twist, ladies and gentlemen, because there is a possibility, and there's just a contingency plan that ISRO has come up with, and we've got a reaction coming in from ISRO as well, that there might be a potential delay. This, if the conditions don't favor us to be landing tomorrow, then we will wait it out. We might land on the 27th of this month. This coming in from ISRO. I think we've got a reaction. I'm just going to check with the control room once. If we have that reaction by the ISRO scientist, let's quickly play that out and tell the viewers what is this Chandrayaan landing twist that we're talking about essentially.
30 किलोमीटर की एल्टीट्यूड या हाइट से लैंडर नीचे की ओर चंद्र की सतह पर जाने का प्रयास करेगा 23 अगस्त को, और उसके 2 घंटे पहले हम पूरे जो कमांड है वो यहाँ से जो हमारा बाइलालू अर्थ स्टेशन है वहाँ से अपलोड कर देंगे लैंडर मॉड्यूल के अंदर। और उसके बाद जो लैंडर मॉड्यूल की हेल्थ चेकिंग, टेलीमेट्री और चंद्र में जो स्थिति है उसको सबको ध्यान में रखते हुए लगभग 2 घंटे पहले हम ये निर्णय लेंगे कि उस दिन चंद्र पे उतराण करना ठीक रहेगा कि नहीं रहेगा। तो अगर मेरे ख्याल से कोई और मुश्किल तो आने वाली है नहीं, और हम पूर्णतया 23 अगस्त को ही चंद्र पे उतरने का प्रयास करेंगे। बट अगर कोई हमको ऐसा आपत्तिजनक लगता है तो हम लैंडिंग को पोस्टपोन करके 27 अगस्त को करेंगे। तो उसके लिए भी हमने पूरा सावधानी बरती है, और उसके लिए जो भी कार्य करना है, जो सब प्रणाली है वो सब भी तैयार रखी है। तो हम जो मोस्ट प्रोबेबली हम 23 अगस्त को ही उत्तरायण करेंगे, अन्यथा 27 अगस्त को। और 23 अगस्त को 30 किलोमीटर की हाइट से वो लैंडर नीचे उतरने का प्रयास करेगा। तो और उसकी जो वेलोसिटी होगी 30 किलोमीटर की हाइट पे वो लगभग 1.68 किलोमीटर पर सेकंड, जो काफ़ी गति मानी जाती है, स्पीड मानी जाती है, उससे वो नीचे की ओर प्रयाण करेगा। और जैसा कि आपको पता है चंद्र का जो गुरुत्वाकर्षण है वो उसको नीचे की ओर खींचेगा। तो उसके बाद वो इसलिए हमको जो थ्रस्टर इंजन है उसको रेट्रोफायर करना पड़ेगा, जिससे कि उसकी स्पीड कम होती जाए, और धीरे धीरे जब चंद्र की सतह पर पहुंचेगा तब लगभग 0 स्पीड हो जाएगी उसकी। तो उसके लिए हमको इंजन थ्रस्टर फायर करेंगे। तो ऐसे 4 थ्रस्टर इंजन हमने लगाए हुए हैं लैंडर मॉड्यूल में। तो पहले 30 किलोमीटर से वो 7.5 किलोमीटर पे आएगा, वहाँ से 6.8 किलोमीटर पे आएगा। उसके बाद वो 2 इंजन हम बंद कर देंगे, और फिर 2 इंजन से ही नीचे की ओर प्रयाण करेगा। जो 2 इंजन उसको रिवर्स थ्रस्ट देंगे, जिसके कारण जैसा कि मैंने बताया जब 30 किलोमीटर पे था उसकी गति 1.68 किलोमीटर पर सेकंड थी, वो 6.8 किलोमीटर तक आते आते 350 मीटर पर सेकंड तक हो जाएगी, यानी कि 4 गुना कम हो जाएगी। उसी तरह वो 6.8 किलोमीटर से फिर 800 मीटर तक आएगा, और तब लगभग उसकी स्पीड जो है वो 0 मीटर पर सेकंड जैसी हो जाएगी।
Well, so that's what the ISRO scientist over there is telling us, that it's going to come up to a height of just 800 meters above the lunar surface. At that point, its velocity is going to be pretty much zilch, zero. And that's the one possibility that he's talking about, that if conditions don't favor our landing situation, then we might just postpone this, and for the betterment and for the sake of carrying out the experiments, because let's not forget, if one lunar day we need the sun to be shining on the dark side of the moon for our machines, our lander, Vikram lander and Pragyan rover to be functioning, because they're solar operated, they're solar powered. As soon as the sun goes down, so does our functioning of these two probes on the lunar surface. We need to make sure that we get the maximum utility out of the sunlight on the lunar surface and our 14 days back at home, because scientific experiment and research is the prime reason why we've sent this module up there, isn't it, Varghese?
Well, one of the issues also that he pointed out was this is part of the safety checks, and probably when it came to Luna, which had that unfortunate crash on the moon's surface, I think ISRO scientists are being a little more cautious.
Right.
They're just trying to check everything, because he said that we'll just check all our instrumentation, we will recheck the calculations that we have done, and in case if there is this thing, then we will postpone the landing as such. But then you were also telling me in the morning, remember, Kabir, that what the former director Sivan had said. He said that it all depends upon that 1 hour before landing whether decision is taken to land or not to land. So this data that is being that will be coming in will be the deciding factor, and I think they are prepared for contingencies as well. But people are going to be a little overcautious about it because of the recent kind of a situation that we saw with the Russian moon probe, and therefore I think the ISRO, the ISRO scientists are just being a little cautious about it, trying to have contingency plans also at the same time.
This is how the Dainik Bhaskar has put it. It's got you spoke about Dr. K. Sivan. Dr. K. Sivan's article is on the front page of the Dainik Bhaskar here. It says Chandra Darshan Muhurat Kal. 4 साल पहले चंद्रयान 2 की लैंडिंग की वो रात बहुत बुरी थी. इस बार हमारी तैयारी पुख्ता. We're better prepared and no room for any kind of mishap at all. Now, it's important to note here, friends, what the lander and rover will do after moon touchdown. Let's talk about that as well. After landing, ISRO is going to be busy with the rover ops. So the lander is going to open its door like that, and the rover is just going to slide down
26 kg
from
thing.
it. Of course, it can communicate with the ISDN, the Chandrayaan 2 orbiter, and the rover. This is what the lander can do. It's a 6-wheeled, rover. The mission life is 1 lunar day, which is 14 Earth days. So about half a month of scientific experiments, 26 kilograms, like you pointed out. 50 watts is what the power it's going to use. It's got 2 payloads on its own self. It's got it's got the alpha particle X-ray spectrometer that's going to derive chemical composition and infer mineralogical composition of the soil. And it's got LIBS, which is laser-induced breakdown spectroscope to determine elemental composition, magnesium, and a lot of other elements. I'm not the scientist here in the room. Maybe you do a better job at reading all of this.
No, the idea is, the question has always been, Kabir, is to find out what is the composition of the moon is. So, there have been questions about whether there can be rare earth minerals also out there, which could be used for industrial purposes. And at the same time, the question has always been also, when it comes to the issue about how we can, see the aspect about not only the spectrometry part of it, but how one can actually get a hold on whether there is water, because one of the significant factors is that they want to have a colony of sorts within the place, and once that colony kind of situation that we are looking at, the basic...
You really want a colony to get stable, established.
Because it becomes a launching...
I'm telling you, they're going to go for resorts, they're going to go for hotels, there is going to be nothing sustainable that's going to be done over there.
See,
we're already on the way to destroy our own planet. And you remember what Group Captain V.N. Jha was saying? Anything that we take out of the moon or put on the moon will alter the mass of the planet.
Yeah.
And it's every year, a little inch, it's going away from the Earth. That's going to that means where lunar gravitational pushes it already affects the seas and the water, the high tide, the low tide. I'm saying just let it be. Carry out your experiments. Maybe just go there, let it be a jumping station to go to other side, because if there is water over there, and this is why a lot of spacefaring is done on the moon, because if at all there is water over there in the parts that are completely covered with shadow throughout the year, that are absolutely cold.
It becomes a spaceport basically.
Absolutely. We
I
can
mean,
then ionize
too futuristic,
that.
but yeah.
It has oxygen capacities which can accelerate and propel rockets and spacecrafts to, well, other parts of the solar system. Needless to say, fingers still crossed. I'm confident it's going to happen tomorrow, but the ISRO scientist out there has said that, it might get pushed till the 27th if and only if the conditions do not favor us for landing. All in all, we're still getting there after the crash of Lunar 25. That competition that people already had with Chandrayaan and India and Russia, that has gone. There's a little cartoon by Unni on the Indian Express. It says it's got a photograph of the Russian President Vladimir Putin sitting on the table like that, and he's looking at the moon. The crescent of the moon is a U, and there's crane written all right next to it, and he's got a paper that says Luna over here, and he's looking at the moon, which is the U of the crane, the Ukraine, because there is a war that's going on. People have talked spoken about how there is lack of there is more vanity and lack of actual work that's being done. There's poor management, delayed projects. I mean, we're talking about more than 47 years
See,
later did they
the
launch their,
Roscosmos, which is
lunar
the
mission.
successor of the USSR space agency, is actually now a shadow of its parent agency. So they have a lot of challenges, but they did attempt it, and this is not going to be the last that the Russians have done. Interestingly enough, they have launched, I think, 23 probes to land on the moon, of which I think 13 landed, 13 were meant to land. In that 13, 8 landed and 5, well, it did not meet with success.